with a question, a problem, or an idea within your own laboratory, field, or university. But through this platform, your research can be shared with people from different backgrounds, giving you new perspectives and opportunities to contribute to solutions beyond your own research context. Therefore, I encourage all of you to take full advantage of this opportunity, that is, present your research findings, engage with other colleagues, share and listen to different perspectives, challenge the ideas constructively, and build connections, most importantly. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this opportunity to express our heartfelt gratitude to the University Consortium for its generous support and continued commitment to strengthening regional collaboration in graduate education and research. Since its inception in 1989, the University Consortium has continued to grow and strengthen its network. So today, the consortium has about 18 member institutions, including 10 regular members, 2 associate members, and 6 affiliate members. So let us give the University Consortium a big round of applause for its continued support and contribution. I would also like to express my sincere appreciation to our plenary speakers and chairpersons for their invaluable contributions. And I'm very confident that all participants will greatly benefit from your expertise, insights, and experience throughout this forum. Once again, welcome to the 11th University Consortium Graduate Forum 2026. May this forum be a platform for inspiring discussions, innovative ideas, meaningful collaborations, and new opportunities for our graduate students and the wider academic community. With that, thank you.
Thank you, Yang Berbahagia Prof, for your wonderful welcoming remarks. Next. All right. Next, it is our pleasure to welcome Dr. Mercedita A. Sombea, Center Director of Seraca and the head of the UC Secretariat, to deliver her remarks. Please give her a warm welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Nadia. To Vice Chancellor, University Consortium, Chief Executive Officer for University of Putra, Malaysia. I hope I could pronounce your name properly. Dato Professor Dr. Ahmad Farhan Mud Sadula, Dean of the School of Graduate Studies and University Consortium Executive Officer for University of Putra, Malaysia, Professor Dr. Salila Binti Mod Sharif, staff of the UPM, plenary speakers. I would like to greet my former Deputy Director for Programs, Dr. Noor Azura Binti Adam, graduate student and researchers. Ladies and gentlemen, salamat pagi, magandang umaga, good morning to everyone. On behalf of CERCA, as Secretariat of the Southeast Asian University Consortium for Graduate Education in Agriculture and Natural Resources, or what is known in short as the UC, it is my honor to welcome to you to the 11th Graduate Forum, UC Graduate Forum 2026. This occasion is deeply significant. In 2015, the University Putra Malaysia hosted the very first Graduate Forum, and 11 years later, we returned to UPM for the 11th edition of a platform that has become a vital space for nurturing research talent and advancing solutions for agriculture and food systems across Southeast Asia. The theme of this year's forum, Building Research Capacity for Food Security, Innovating Solutions for Sustainable Systems, speaks directly to one of the defining challenges of our time. Food security is not simply about producing more food. It is about whether families can afford nutritious diets, whether farmers can withstand climate and market shocks, whether agricultural systems can use natural resources sustainably, and whether research and innovation can reach the communities that need them the most. Across Asia, millions of households still struggle with affordability. Would that disturb everybody now? Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Yes. So across Asia, millions of households still struggle with affordability of healthy diets. Southeast Asian agriculture is increasingly exposed to extreme heat, drought, flooding, salinity intrusion, and shifting pest and disease pressures. And we were talking this morning with the ladies, and Adin Salila, and I think Malaysia is still being exposed to the haze that comes from, from the burning of trees in, some other countries. And all of these are really challenges to agriculture that we are all exposed to. And so must our response be? This is why building research capacity matters. Research provides evidence, but research capacity equips us to ask the right questions, work across disciplines, generate solutions, test them under real conditions, and translate knowledge into action. At CIRCA, we have seen that this connection between research and application has really created impact. Our nationwide endline evaluation of the Philippine Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund Rice Research Extension Services Program reached more than 300,000 Filipino farmers, trainers, and extension facilitators in the Philippines, demonstrating how science-based practices and effective extension can improve productivity and incomes. At the regional level, our collaboration with the World Food Program and landscape analysis of school meals programs across ASEAN is generating actionable evidence to strengthen nutrition policies for children. We are advancing research on cost and affordability of health diets in Cambodia, Nepal, the Philippines, and Sri Lanka to inform inclusive and nutrition-sensitive policies. And through the Agricultural Transformation and Market Initiative ASEAN project, together with IFPRI, funded by IFAD, CIRCA has supported commodity-focused strategies that enhance smallholder participation in regional markets, including Myanmar's National Roadmap on Pulses, which helped drive exports to USD 1.48 billion in 2023. These initiatives are clear testaments of how CIRCA translates research into actionable knowledge that contributes solutions to address the region's food security challenges. As you present your work and engage with fellow researchers over the next 2 days, allow me to leave you with 4 challenges. First, think beyond the journal or article. Publications are important, but impact requires building bridges between evidence and action, ensuring your findings reach farmers, policymakers, communities, and entrepreneurs. Second, embrace failure as part of innovation. Breakthroughs often emerge from setbacks, persist when trials fail, when communities resist, or when results are uncertain. And we are experiencing this in the Philippines with our spread of the GM corn. I think many of our areas there are still very hesitant to embrace the GM corn, despite the fact that the benefits that it has already been providing with farmers and even with food security. Each challenge is an opportunity to refine and strengthen your ideas. The third one is to collaborate beyond disciplines and borders. Agriculture is not just production alone already. We are now talking about food systems. So that includes already several sectors outside of agriculture, logistics, health, name it, and it's already all related to agriculture. Food security, as I said, is not confined to agriculture alone. It demands insights from economics, nutrition, engineering, data science, and public policy, as well as cooperation across countries and institutions. The fourth one, and very, very important, is to take advantage of the opportunity to innovate and use the agricultural technologies at your disposal. And always remember to innovate with purpose. Your generation has to access tools, AI, precision agriculture, drones, biotechnology, digital platforms that can transform food systems. But technology is not innovation unless it solves meaningful problems. Improving decisions, reducing risks, conserving resources, strengthening livelihoods, and making nutritious food more accessible. Ladies and gentlemen, again, I have mentioned that 11 years ago, graduate researchers gathered here at UPM for the first UC Graduate Forum. Today, another group of graduate researchers has gathered in the same place to share a common responsibility to help shape a food secure, resilient, inclusive, and sustainable Southeast Asia. For over a decade now, the UC Graduate Forum has hosted more than 350 graduate student presenters, disseminated over hundreds of novel research studies, and convened thousands of participants from the member universities of the consortium. Its unwavering commitment and unique design, a marketplace for actionable ideas, and a showcase of breakthroughs in research that encourage ideas to cross-pollinate and insights to be challenged, has placed the forum at the forefront. The questions investigated, the evidence generated, and the collaborations forged in this event contribute to uncovering the innovative solutions to effect the systemic transformation we need to achieve the more food secure, resilient, inclusive, and sustainable Southeast Asia. This is why the forum matters and why CIRCA and the University Consortium will continue to invest in platforms that empower young researchers to connect knowledge with action. So on behalf of CIRCA, again, and the University of Consortium, I wish all of you a productive and inspiring graduate forum. May your presentation speak meaningfully of discussions. May your exchange lead to new collaborations. And may your research ultimately make a real difference in the communities we serve. Maraming salamat po. Again, good morning to everyone.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sombia, for your wonderful remarks. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, now get ready for the highlight of our program. It is now my great pleasure to invite the Vice Chancellor, Yang Berbahagia Datuk Professor Insinyur Dr. Ahmad Farhan Muhammad Sadullah, FASC, to deliver the keynote speech. And the title of his inspiring keynote is Giving Impact to Agriculture and Food Security, Transitive Journey from Postgraduates to Subject Matter Experts. Let's give a warm round of applause as we welcome Dato to the stage.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Salatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Berbahagia Profesor Dr. Zalila Muhammad Sharif, Dean School of Graduate Studies UPM, Dr. Masjida Astambaya, Center Director Siaka and Head of the University Consortium Secretariat, Siaka Representative, Planetary Speakers and Chairpersons, Masters and PhD students, participants, presenters, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, it is my honor to be at this event, especially when I've heard that it is the return to UPM after 10th event that has happened over the years. And I'm also blessed to be able to meet you after our miss date appointment in Tokyo last year. I was I was about to go, but there were some administrative issues that was not has not enabled me to be there. So macam mana ni? How do I change to my presentation? Okay, so thank you very much to the organizers for inviting me to share my views on something that is very important. I think is to reflect the Center Director of Siaka's view as well, and Prof. Zalila's view earlier on the role of postgraduates as part of our ecosystem of research, our talent that is required to help in the agenda of agriculture and food security. And I think the role of postgraduate perhaps is should not be underestimated, because all of you or all of us once upon a time were part of the research agenda of a bigger mission. And with regards to our event today, we are here to tackle a very important issue, a problematic problem that has persisted for many years and yet to find its solution. So this is a mission for all of us. And postgraduate is, of course, is your life. You know, you will think about your degree or PhD or master's as part of something that you must get. But as part of the ecosystem, you are actually part of a longer journey. About a month ago, I shared my views on how to be a subject matter expert and become an academic leader. So some of us are blessed here to be academic leader in our own rights, but it all begins here at the postgraduate level. So I thought, since I was told that I'm going to address future leaders, future researchers, why not use this occasion to encourage all of you to become that subject matter expert that is very critical for the agenda and the mission that we are all together here. This is just to share our UPM's what we call as a True North framework. What I would like to highlight is that one of the main pillar behind this framework is what we term as relevant and impactful research. And this is where all of you matters. Okay, so for all of you who may only see yourself as doing your own PhD, it is not true. It is actually part of a bigger agenda of your university. You are part of that drive to ensure that the university provide excellent research outcomes. And beyond that, actually, is more important is that your expertise, your findings, your knowledge, your innovation will also be applicable and used in a bigger light of the problems for food security, particularly for our discussion today. Okay, and of course the rest are actually part of our agenda. I think it's typical to any university, and therefore you must ensure that whatever research that you are doing is relevant and impactful. Because unfortunately, there have been cases where we do research for the sake of research. Sometimes we do research for the sake of self-glorification. So that is minus the mission. Because as you all may know, some of the questions that, or typically the questions that we'll ask upon you will be what is the impact of your research? And when you actually say the impact of your research, it has to be in a real world perspective, all right? And sometimes, of course, being an academic for 30 odd years, I've seen how people respond to the impact of the research without acknowledging the real world problems. Okay, and I think that is sad, and I think that should not happen to all of you. And again, if you look into the framework, there is a positive spill from your good work to other dimensions of your university. All right, it goes to the community because for agriculture and food security, it will have to go to the community as at least the recipient or the farming community who will benefit and be the intermediary for solutions. It will also spill over to the industry because the industry is also very critical. And industry will be there to receive your technology, to receive your research findings and turn it into enhanced products that perhaps can be commercialized and thereafter can be benefited by many. So this is your role as a postgraduate. But my call today is actually not to just remain there. You are effectively at the verge of becoming a subject matter expert. And with that, you need to earn the respect of others. You need to show that you understand your subject matter. And that's not only prepare towards the Viva examination. We are talking about years to come, and we hope perhaps 10 years or the addition of the UC grad program or in any other activities that we have in the future. Maybe we can see that you have actually graduated from a postgraduate event to a faculty event, which is also part of the UC activities. So that is actually the first point I would like to highlight. And this is again something that I borrowed from UPM. This is our research strategy as a response to the True North framework. It also shows how, again, we have to work in an ecosystem. Okay, and if you look, this is actually our focus area at UPM, one of our focus area, and this is primarily to become the world leader in tropical agriculture. So some of your work perhaps are actually in the enabling section. Some of your work perhaps are in the main areas. So it all depends on where and what your problem statements are. Okay, but again, this is an ecosystem that you also need to understand, because sometimes as postgraduates, you are in a very narrow ecosystem, while you are actually having the access to the vast knowledge and opportunity in the university. But many postgraduates remain in their lab, just with their supervisor, his or her supervisor, and does not even go beyond that boundaries, which I think is very sad. And which is very, very, you have lost a lot of opportunity to know with each other. And I hope at least all of you who are here will learn, will know, and will share experience among your colleagues and all the participants that are here. So I have chosen the word transitive, trying to explain to you that you are part of a journey. And I think as an academic, as a researcher, as someone who upholds the importance of knowledge, there is no end to our journey. Okay, we shall continue to seek new knowledge, to discover new knowledge, and to ensure that others benefit from our knowledge. And therefore, again, I prepared this presentation from almost 31 years of experience as an academic, and I also have had my fair share of being a supervisor and also being an examiner. So again, these are all part of the experience that I've seen, of course, across different generations, perhaps different time horizon, but I guess it perhaps is still the same from the point of view of a postgraduate. So the call is you need to be as part of a transitive journey, meaning you are preparing yourself to be better in the future. And you have actually benefited from your past, all right? And that part of a journey is to ensure that you continue to learn and you continue to be excited about the possibilities of your work, possibilities of your self-being, your capability, your potential. And you have chosen a subject matter that is very important, that I believe will always be an issue, all right? Because the 4 domains of food security covers not only about its availability, but also its quality. And whenever you talk about the quality of food in terms of nutrition, in terms of cost effectiveness, in terms of ability for everybody to have same standard or same quality of food, same nutrition, is a challenge. And as you all know, the divide that we have in the world has always been there. We have the economic divide, we have the socio-economic divide, we have the technology divide, we of course have the geopolitical divide. And all this will create different pace, different development stages among the nations of the world and the people of the world. For that reason, the problems of food security will always be there. We also, of course, strive to lessen its impact and, of course, to provide new opportunities to eradicate or as much as possible in many parts of the world and to many parts of the community. So remember, your postgraduate degree is a vector, it's not a static journey. So we hope that it does not end with your degree. It is actually the beginning of a greater journey. You know, you do your PhD perhaps 3, 4, 5 years, then you have 30 more years in terms of your active perhaps in employment before you go into retirement. And when you go into retirement with the knowledge that you have, we hope that as subject matter expert, you will continue to contribute, to provide wisdom and to provide advice and to become experts that can help. The problem perhaps 30 years from now will be of a different nature. So again, this is again to put in context, and I like to call upon you to associate yourself with your problem statement or research. Maybe many of you are going to present, so that problem statement has been clear to you, but now associate it to one of these 4, or at least one of these 4. It could cover all 4 in terms of the definition of food security as termed by the FAO. And we have also referred this in this area. So are you tackling availability issues? Are you tackling accessibility issues? Are you tackling utilization or usability issues? Or are you talking about stability in terms of its nutrition, in terms of its benefit, and so on? So I hope anything that you have done, okay, or everything that you have done will address this, because this is very critical. And in order for you to be part of the mission, you must address this. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, sharing, I'm actually also sharing what we are doing at UPM. We are proud of our history. As you may know, UPM started from being an agriculture university. We have expanded beyond that since the beginning. And now, actually, we are hoping to strengthen our position as a global player, as a global leader, as a regional player, as a regional leader. And we are very honored to be part of the UC. UC, SEACA, and UPM have been very instrumental towards the establishment and the strengthening of our purpose in terms of helping with agriculture and food security, and we hope that we can continue to do that. And postgraduate has always been there. And again, we are putting this as a motivation that at UPM, our mission is also doesn't end as an academic institution. It goes beyond that. Okay, and the call for everybody, every academic, every researcher, every postgraduate at UPM and with all of you is actually to think beyond that. And that will give you that energy, that will give you that excitement, that will give you that vision and mission to help and give something that is useful for the nation. And for UPM, our motto is actually with knowledge, with serve. And that again is an additional motivation. So with whatever that we have in terms of academic recognition, is actually the passport or the permit or the enabling entity that can bring us beyond and for us to continue to serve for the benefit of humanity as well, in terms of food security as well. So these are some of the traps that postgraduate may go into. And sometimes it's not necessarily your fault. Sometimes it is the policy of the university. Sometimes it's the policy of the nation that perhaps have other priorities. Okay, but I would like to encourage you to go beyond that norm. Okay, sometimes you talk about graduating on time. I have seen the negative side of GOT. Okay, and I think for us at UPM, we have dropped that as a KPI, because what's the purpose of graduating on time when you do not improve your maturity? Okay, what is the purpose of graduating on time when you have been spoon-fed? Okay, there's not enough creativity, and of course now with AI, you can graduate in time one day. You can write your thesis. Okay, so how can you challenge yourself to be the true, academic, a true person with wisdom? And indeed, AI is giving a lot of challenges, and I hope you resist and maintain AI as an enabler, and do not allow AI to substitute you as a human being that has an intellect, that can think, that can be challenged, that can challenge yourself. And if you are able and you are clever to do that, AI shall improve your efficiency, but shall never replace your intellect. Okay. So again, I've seen this in my sometimes people celebrate this, but we can only see the downside of that celebration maybe 5 to 10 years after one has gone through this process, when he or she was a postgraduate. I do see it. I do saw it. I did see it. Okay, that's the right language. I did see it with my colleagues when I did my PhD. So sometimes shortcuts doesn't help. Okay, in the long run. And my call is for a postgraduate to become subject matter expert and to give your expertise with wisdom. You need to be careful from taking shortcuts. And the intransitive workhorse. Okay, sometimes we are a workhorse. Postgraduates can be regarded as workhorses for your supervisor. And sometimes I feel sad for them because they do not have the capacity and capability and the opportunity to fully realize the potential, because you are just a workhorse. Okay. And how does that happen? Perhaps prescriptive methodology. All right. So there is a journey of a different kind for everybody. Sometimes you have a very dictatorial supervisor that gives you everything, which may be seen to be, wow, I have a smooth sailing journey. All right. But if you are lucky or unlucky, I do not know if you are lucky or unlucky to be in that position, challenge yourself, explore other things as well. Right? Do not just get a prescription. All right. You question whether this prescription is the best or not for your research and for your journey as part of your mission. Again, spoon-fed tasks. I've seen this. Everything is being spoon-fed. And to the point that our postgraduates are unable to think, to challenge, to question. And these are problems that has risen over the years, especially with generational changes, especially with AI technology assistance, and this can be very, very serious if you do not curb it. Okay. Follow instructions to find expected results. I like the dare to fail attitude. Sometimes you learn more from failure than you learn more from success. Okay? Because when it is successful, you just move on, dot to dot. But if you go through failure, you have to think, why did I fail? Okay? What went wrong? There is a period of self-assessment, self-evaluation, and that lowers your ego. And I tell you, among us, subject matter expert, ego is our biggest enemy because we feel we know everything. Once you get your PhD, suddenly your ego standard goes up, all right? And you feel that you know everything. Walhal, the virtue of the fact is that you only know something that is very small, which is your problem statement in your thesis. Okay. So, and then some of us goes into becoming an academic or a researcher. We refuse to go beyond that boundaries of your PhD. So that is sad. And that to me is not the quality of a subject matter expert that we need from all of you. Okay. Impact is measured solely by ticking off the supervisor's KPIs. Okay. So again, you are the workhorse of your supervisor. No doubt. That is a fact. I also have that, my supervisor help with my KPI. But at the same time, I ensure that they learn. I ensure that they progress. I am sure that they mature. I'm sure that they are better before they came, compared to before they came in. Okay, I want them to be a person that upholds the responsibility of being a subject matter expert with a PhD and a doctor in front of his or her name. Okay, not somebody that is going to be ridiculed, not somebody that is going to be regarded as somebody who is just talking theory and do not understand the real world. Okay, so we need you to change to that, the transitive catalyst, exploratory methodology. No doubt, you may have been given a suggestion of your methodology, but you look for perhaps extension of that methodology. That is to allow you to be more exploratory, okay, and to ensure that you can also question, argue, and counterproductive or counter in a positive way. Perhaps you can also contribute to the mindset and to the ways and to the knowledge of your supervisor. I've mentioned many times, I've learned a lot from my supervisor. And I think with the right attitude as a supervisor, for example, we welcome a supervisee, a PhD student especially, that will be bringing new ideas. And with that, for every supervisee that I have, I expand my body of knowledge. I expand the methodology. I expand the scientific approaches, which enhances my capability as a subject matter expert as well. Okay, so contribute that. All right, do not be too diffident. Don't feel that you are nothing. Okay, it's not true. Okay, you are part of that body of knowledge. You are part of that experience, and I'm sure you can contribute as well. Operates with autonomy. Of course, your supervisor is to guide you. Sometimes you are overzealous, adventurous. But again, this is where you use AI accordingly. You challenge yourself, but you can test with AI, not asking AI to give the idea. You know, you can challenge AI. I use AI a lot. You know, this is my thought. Challenge that. What do you think? Give me the pros and cons. That is the benefit of having AI. But you have to initiate the discussion. Of course, you can just ask AI to give you the solution, but that will not help you to become a good and with subject matter expert with wisdom. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that this is crystal in terms of an advice in order for you to be transitive towards a good subject matter expert that still has a long journey to go. And I think these are some of the advice that I can give. And again, reflecting on what was said earlier as well, we tend to be very siloed during our postgraduates, and to many, postgraduate years are very lonely years. Okay, and it is your choice. Okay, you make it lonely. Okay, it should be fun. You should meet everybody. Okay, if you have not ventured out of your cubicle, please do so when you go back. Okay, at least ask your next door friend, what are you doing? You know, I don't know. Some of us are unfortunate when your supervisor, maybe you, even your supervisor, have many students, but there has never been interaction. You know, you don't share, you don't have sessions of sharing. I know this. Okay, I've been a dean and now I'm the vice chancellor. I do see this. Okay, and I discourage that because I've seen, for example, my wife's lab. She also has a PhD, and I see a very positive energetic, vibrant lab, okay, that discusses everything. She has this what was called as a bull session. You know, a bull session means you present and you're going to be shot. You know, I don't know. Is about being challenged. She of course hated it, but at the end of the day, we can see that it has helped her, I'm sure her colleagues, to grow, to be challenged. And sometimes even postgraduates are not eager to present like all of you, which I would like to congratulate. This is a session where you need to be challenged. You need to see the point of view of others, because sometimes you are in a siloed, very narrow view of things. Okay, and today we have 13 or so universities from different perspectives. You can actually also see whether your work is actually attributable, can be used in other parts of the world as well. So we need to also prepare yourself to go from that siloed to become multidisciplinary. Okay, and again, look for opportunity. This is where exploratory methodology can actually be expanded to give that extra impact and that extra novelty to your work, right? Because you did not confine to a very standard and very conservative methodology that perhaps is the same with your colleagues under your supervisor, right? I have a problem with all your supervisors after this, but look at it in a positive way, okay? So this is part of maturity. This is part of you growing up. So you need also to be able to discuss in, in a mature way. Why not? Why not? I did that a lot with my supervisor. Okay, but of course, there is a setback sometimes because you do that. You need extra time. Okay, so you have to balance between how exploratory you want to be, and again, if you have time limits, of course, you need to balance that. But that is part of life, right? That's part of life. If you ask all of us who are given the responsibility of administration, we will tell you that. Okay, we want cost efficiency, we want time efficiency, we want to do within the time and the timeline and the due dates, but we also want to be exploratory. And for one that is able to do that and to achieve that, they are the best leaders. So that is what the call is all. And for food security, ladies and gentlemen, again, we will not be able to solve problem in a silo. And this is the problem. Is this a problem in Malaysia? And I'm sure this is a problem in many countries. The silo mentality is cut across even in ministerial agencies and so on. And it's so difficult to break that. And that is the reason why we need to ensure the future generations, the future subject matter expert, the future leaders understand that you cannot work in silo, as the problem is definitely transdisciplinary. Ladies and gentlemen, again, this is to remind all of us that we are part of this ecosystem. Okay, this is another way to show that our work is part of a bigger agenda of the university. And I'm sure every university president that exists in the world will want the university to give more impact, okay, not within the confines of the ivory tower. We have changed ivory tower to the knowledge tower, okay, because we want knowledge to transcend the boundaries and the borders of the university and therefore be respected. And that's where community industry is longing, yearning for our contribution, new knowledge, new research, and all of you are part of the agenda. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think the first thing that needs to be reminded is your mindset. Okay, your mindset. This is very important. Again, anything that is going to deter you or deviate you from the ability to do this while you are a postgraduate, I think should be discouraged and should be should not be part of your journey. Okay, you need to be critical thinkers, and that is the reason why you cannot be spoon fed. You cannot be not coming up with your own framework. Sometimes supervisees, you know, even before one becomes a student, they have already requested for a research framework. Okay, I've had that. So of course I will not take her or him lah. You know, before anything, they already requested. You know, not only that, to me, asking for a title is a sin. Okay, there have been cases where they even ask, is there a research framework ready for it? You know, so this is a recipe for disaster in terms of coming up with talent and future changes for especially food security and in fact for other areas. So in terms of integrated solving, okay, again, in terms of strategic collaboration, anticipatory competency. You know, when you approach yourself as part of a possible integrated solving, you know that you are actually doing something that is very focused, but you need the contribution, or at least for your product or for your research to be more impactful later, you know that it has to be integrated with other researchers. And look for it here. You know, you have many sessions within today, and I'm sure you can find somewhere in another university that is not similar, but they are part of the ecosystem to solve a bigger problem. All right. So that is anticipatory competency. You learn a lot, you learn more. All right. I am a civil engineer. I am a transportation engineer. I chose to do something in terms of travel behavior. And because of that, because of the anticipatory competency, I had to learn economics, I had to learn sociology, I had to learn social behavior, how do you influence behavior and so on, which is also true for food security. You know, sometimes your research, for it to be able to be implemented, you need to know how will decision makers, political masters be sensitive and be with you to use your research to address that. Of course, you will stop at saying challenges. These are the challenges. Usually you put it in the last chapter. But that anticipatory competency, your ability to articulate that problem, is when you actually understand the real world. And I think that will make you different from others, at least from the point of the Viva examination, the way you answer, the way you show that you understand more than just something in the lab is very much encouraged and welcome. And at the end of the day, all this is actually to prepare you to be a subject matter expert in a system environment. Okay, because real world is all about system. there's nothing in the real world that stands alone. Okay, especially if our mission is to solve the problem of food security, it shall never be a one person or one sector solution. Okay, and that is the reason why we need to train all of you to be system thinkers. Okay, and unfortunately, some areas do not encourage that. So if you are in that or in such area and environment, you need to find your way to think beyond that one small dot. Yeah, then you need to go through a vector of a line. There you need to think about 2 dimension, 3 dimension, and ultimately you go into a system that is complex, no doubt. But because of that complexity, it gives you that extra edge, if you that extra energy to move on and become a great subject matter expert. So again, whether you are doing research that is blue ocean in nature or blue sky in nature, you must understand that at the end of the day, it has to bring to somewhere. All right. Unfortunately, I am not a believer of totally blue sky. Okay. Maybe to some it is true, but I think since all of us are in, all of you lah, I'm not, I'm still in transportation. Okay. But because I'm here as Vice Chancellor of UPM, I share the importance. I can see how great this area will be. And for you to solve that problem, you must understand that at the end of the day, there is a destination for your blue sky research. Okay, it could be very fundamental, but along the way, you can pave the path towards a solution, towards a product, towards a policy, towards a new technology. Okay, and that has happened. Something that you do mathematically can actually progress towards something that is an algorithm towards precision agriculture, for example. Okay, so I think perhaps it is beyond us. Perhaps it is not that relevant nowadays to be totally blue sky. Maybe. Okay, I stand to be challenged, but that's my view because maybe I'm an engineer. Okay, sustainable production, again, policy simulation. Is something that you can actually experiment during your work. Policy simulation, whether whatever that you have come up with will withstand the challenges of the real world, whether it will actually be suitable, practical, and applicable for a policy change. All right. If you are able to do that, in fact, if you are able to attribute a chapter on that, that in a way will perhaps be a more complete proposal as a research finding. Okay, so but again, everybody has a different mode. But again, my view here is, or my purpose here is to encourage you to be more effective and more impactful. And again, ladies and gentlemen, technology is there. All right, and again, I know perhaps to most of us, AI will be our friendly, our greatest friend. But again, the warning is to use it wisely. But some of you perhaps are actually using other parts, okay, depending on your research scope. But again, for UPM, we are hoping that we can also provide living labs that you can actually experiment on the actual technology. And I think we have now had several initiatives at the university level to provide real living lab and sandboxes where we can actually hope to integrate a work at postgraduate level so that it can be part of the solution. So the lab is no longer in a lab alone, but the lab is also in the living lab. And I think many of our universities from the name mentioned, I think have the same layout and the same DNA as UPM. And I hope your universities are also and have also explored on that. So ladies and gentlemen, in the case of UPM, I think this is what we are actually doing. And I think from Dr. Sambaya just now, we also know that this is the call. And I'm sure as members of the UC, we have been doing this. And I hope that this is where you need to win the confidence of the government so that they can also help us. And for us at UPM, I think we have been blessed to be able to be supported by government money as well, to ensure that we can give direct impact to the farming communities. So ladies and gentlemen, this is what we wish for you to be as a subject matter expert from the academic realm where you are in, and then you will continue to do research. You do not need to be a researcher by profession. You can be somebody else, but behind your mind, you are always eager to do analysis, to do, research can be defined in many ways. Of course, the best is for you to continue to be part of a research fraternity where you can really provide the best impact. But wherever you are, that research mind that you have will ensure data is available, which is one of our biggest problem. Okay, that research mind will ensure that whatever that you do is mission oriented. You know what problem statement is needed. Okay, because you understand the system, you understand the problem. Okay, so you may be one day become a person who is higher in rank, making decisions, but because you have a research mind, you can guide your organization so that we are not missing on all the elements that are important with making decision. Many a times, many places, many government, many agencies do decision without the data. So it is not evidence-based, and sometimes it is adopting without adapting because we do not have the data to know how to adapt. We do not know what is the situation in the country as opposed to where we adopted it from. And this has been going on, and especially with our countries, the low and middle income countries, we sometimes do not exercise our own understanding of things because we do not do enough research. And sometimes we do not do research because data is not available. We have to be dependent on primary data when secondary data is not available, and that slows things down and so on. So as a future subject matter expert, I hope that you understand this, and that will allow you to provide the best impact to the issue of food security. So ladies and gentlemen, these are again something that we wish you can also be. You can become an agripreneur. You may be part of your university's mission to come up with technology and to bring technology to the community through commercialization. That is part of what we are doing at UPM, and we are proud that many of our postgraduates research have actually helped to come up with new products, and some of the products are now being used in many areas. Actual use are open to the farmers, to the market, to the consumers. And if you are there, you can be part of the startup. Okay, many of our startups in UPM are actually run by the postgraduates that actually did the research. So this could be one line that you go into, right? And whatever that you have done, perhaps is usable technology. You are adopted. We have a strategy at UPM where we talk about thriving the industry rather than just working with the industry. We aim for our researchers to thrive the industry, and with usable technology proven by your research and your publication, you can show that your prototype that may work at the lab is also applicable in the real world. And that perhaps through an agripreneur model, through a startup, can also facilitate that to happen, to show that whatever that you have done is actually usable and scalable and going to be helpful for the real world. And at the end of the day, again, we are here to empower the community, the farming community, the general community. Sometimes we are tackling the public to to understand more about selection of quality food, healthy food, and so on, not to be wasteful. These are all part of food security issues, and I'm sure you can identify where your work will give the most impact. So ladies and gentlemen, I think this is towards the end of my talk. As a postgraduate, we would like you to become subject matter expert. You know, I think the first task is for you to be a transdisciplinary collaborator. All right, maybe at least within your lab, you need to understand what other people are doing. Of course, if you are already very extent, very, very, what do you call it, towards the end of your work, perhaps maybe you do not want to change that, but there's no problem. Sometimes you can add elements of it, maybe in your conclusion chapter, maybe in your future work chapter, to show that you understand that your work is actually applicable to be expanded into a bigger horizon. And at the end of the day, we want you to become leaders, all right? So grow from that postgraduate to subject matter expert, and then one day you are there to be recognized and to be referred to and to be respected as a person with wisdom and can actually help others. Okay, and of course, being a graduate of a university, we always put this as your responsibility, and alumni will always bring the name of the university that you should be proud of. And I hope through all this journey, you will be one great ambassador for your own university. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is in a nutshell or in a keynote presentation to sum up the call for any postgraduate to be part of a journey, a transitive catalyst towards becoming a subject matter expert. And as a subject matter expert, you have more room and opportunity to provide impact. And I hope one day you become a leader, a academic leader, an industrial leader, or whatever leader in whatever that you are getting into. And we hope that you will bring a better future for generations to come. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, best wishes, best luck, be that great ambassador. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Yang Berbahagia Datuk, for that insightful and inspiring keynote speech. We greatly appreciate your leadership and vision, which continue to inspire and guide us towards excellence in research, innovation, and impact. To express our sincere appreciation, we kindly request Yang Berbahagia Datuk to remain on the stage for a token presentation. May I now invite Yang Berbahagia, Professor Dr. Zalila Muhammad Sharif, to come on stage and present the token of appreciation to our Vice Chancellor. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me once again in expressing our heartfelt thanks to the Vice Chancellor of UPM. Next, we kindly request Yang Berbahagia Datuk and Professor Dr. Zalila to remain on stage, and may I invite Dr. Mercedita A. Sombia to join us on stage to receive the token of appreciation from Yang Berbahagia Datuk. Thank you so much, Yang Berbahagia Datuk and Professor Dr. Zalila, for presenting the tokens. May I now invite all our VIPs on stage to kindly return to your respective seats. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the conclusion of the first part of our event. Before departing to the parallel sessions, we would like to invite everyone to join us for a group photo with our esteemed guests of honor, where all guests are kindly requested to gather at the center of the hall for a photo session. We respectfully invite VIP guests to proceed to the lobby for light refreshments. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we hope that each of you has gained valuable insights from this meaningful event thus far. On behalf of the organizing committee, we would like to extend our sincerest apologies for any shortcomings throughout the program. You are now kindly invited to attend the parallel sessions, which will take place on the second floor of the building. The sessions will be conducted in 5 separate rooms as follows. So for Subteam 1, Innovating Research for Sustainable Food Security will be in DK SPE 13. And for Subteam 2, Policy and Governance in Food Security Research and Subteam 4, Interdisciplinary Approaches to Food Security will be in DK SPE 12. Okay. And for Subteam 3, Leveraging Technology in Food Security Research will be in Tutorial Room 5. For Subteam 5, Bridging Research and Community Action for Food Security will be in Tutorial Room 4. And lastly, for Subteam 6, Nutrition, Food Safety, and Public Health for Future Food Security is in Student-Centered Learning SCL2. All right, so we encourage all participants to make the most of these parallel sessions, engage actively, and continue the meaningful exchange of ideas. We'll see you upstairs.